Hey everybody, it's Angela Ardolino with Your Natural Dog, and my guest today is one of my idols, Dr. Judy Morgan, one of our most favorite trusted holistic veterinarians that she calls herself our pet's advocate, and that is no lie. She literally has written books on how to take care of our pets more naturally, written cookbooks on how to cook for dogs with different ailments. And I probably have said all this before, and you may know this, but the great thing about it, and while we're having her on her show today, is she's going on a speaking tour, and I get to join her and talk about adaptogen, cannabis, and mushroom medicine. And she is going to talk to you about what the dangers are facing her pets, whether it's vaccinations or pharmaceutical drugs, and how to go the more natural route. And of course, be in person where you can talk to her and ask her questions. And she's launching that tour in my town, Tampa, on March 25th, and then taking it throughout the U.S. So if you want her to come to your town, give her a call. But we're excited to bring this event where we can talk directly to you pet parents who are looking to bring more natural remedies, using food as therapy, using cannabis and mushrooms and herbs instead of some of these dangerous pharmaceutical drugs. And that's basically what the event's going to be all about. And we're going to talk to her about on this episode. So stay tuned.
Introducing Myco Dog, a line of mushroom extracts combined with adaptogens like ashwagandha, astragalus root, and Bacopa monnieri, made specifically for dogs. The mushrooms in our tinctures are grown in the wild in the Pacific Northwest and are triple extracted from the fruiting bodies of the mushrooms. These tinctures are meant to support dogs with dementia and canine cognitive disorder, breathing and respiratory issues, and autoimmune diseases and even cancer. Click on the link below to learn more about how Myco Dog can help your dog live their very best life naturally.
And we're back with Dr. Judy Morgan. Thank you so much for taking the time today to visit with me and talk about your upcoming tour, which I'm so excited that you are launching here in Tampa. And I also wanted to let you know that you have made my year. To be able to be up on a stage and speak with you is a bucket list item, and I am absolutely honored and thrilled. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm a big fan, longtime fan, and I know that you've been an advocate for not only our pets, you are our pet's advocate, but an advocate for natural herbs, especially CBD and mushrooms, and you're one of the originals that have been talking about it. I just loved that. I'm reviewing your books, which of course I love. You're From Needles to Natural, and one of my favorites is your nutrition, your yin and yang. Just looking at all the recipes and seeing how you have been incorporating shiitake mushrooms from the very beginning, which we'll talk about that a little bit later, about how they're an incredible functional food and functional medicine. But let's talk about your tour that's coming up, and we're launching here in Tampa on March 25th. But I wanted to ask you, why this tour? Why do you think we need it right now? And I know what your answer is, but I want the audience to hear it, because I definitely think there's a shift. I think more and more people are coming over to the natural side because they've been let down. But why do you feel like it's such a need right now to have this type of event?
Well, first of all, I think that everyone is tired of not being able to get together. I think we learn so much more. We learn differently. We interact and we learn from each other. So me giving a lecture through a computer where I can't interact with people and I can't have a one-on-one conversation and answer a specific question totally changes the dynamics of learning. Being able to be in a room with 100 or 200 or however many like-minded people who all we crave is knowledge to keep our pets healthier, to keep our pets more vibrant, and to keep them with us longer. I think that's what everyone wants. And when the energy that you have in a room full of people and a room full of experts it's so different than just listening to things on a computer. So the other thing that, like you mentioned, a lot more people are looking more toward natural, alternative, holistic, complementary, call it whatever you want, therapies for their animals. And I think that we're starting to really see the shift even within the veterinary profession. It's a very tiny shift within the profession. But I think the veterinarians are starting to realize that we're fed up and we're not going to put up with it anymore. We're not going to accept vaccinations every year. We're not going to accept chemicals and poisons being given to our animals. We're not going to accept having our animals live in a chronic state of disease and inflammatory disease and cancer. And with the shortage of veterinarians that we already have, which is predicted to get much worse, they're predicting by 2035 a 30% shortage of veterinarians for the number of pets that will need treatment. And that alone should be scary enough that pet parents should be saying, what can I do on my own? How do I keep my animal from even needing that veterinary care? How do I keep my animal from having chronic disease and being in and out of the veterinary office every month for some problem that I just haven't been able to take care of? So I think it's crucial for pet parents to take more control, to step up to the plate, and being able to do that in a setting where you can have conversation with so many people that have been through different things with their animals, who have learned from different people. It's just a totally different dynamic. So I'm really excited to actually be able to go out and be in settings where I can actually talk to people and look them in the eye and really understand the emotion behind what they're saying. It's so different from a question on a computer.
It is. And it is the energy. You feel like family. You've met your tribe. I love them more than anything. You know, we spent, when I say we, CBD Dog Health, spent a lot of time going to these big conferences and sponsoring them. And we'd much rather do these smaller ones where we can talk to people and get to know them and be with our group of people. So we're so excited. And of course, why I'm so excited to have you, which I'm sure I'm not the only one who feels this way, is because you've been doing this the longest, and you can literally tell us, yeah, that didn't work. Or, yeah, I've watched this pharmaceutical fall out of the human space and somehow make it into the veterinary space and do nothing but cause havoc on animals. So, yeah, no. So I love that nobody can doubt that. They can't argue with you. They can't say, oh, but raw feeding is dangerous, or THC is going to kill your dog, because you've been doing this for 37 years now. So you know better. 38. Awesome. Explain that, like how you have seen drugs come in and out. And what I think is amazing as a formulator, that I have a rescue. They're mostly all senior geriatric dogs with problems, that there are very little choices out there for them and what they're suffering from. And a lot of times if there is a drug, like for instance, CCD, for instance, the one drug is like an antidepressant. It's not even like really doing anything else for them. So when you have a whole bunch of dogs that you finally got to age 14, 15, and 16, but you don't have anything to support them, you start going, really? I have to make something? Look, these mushrooms do this. Cannabis does this. This is easy. These adaptogens, these herbs do this. And putting more of them together makes it even more synergistic. So getting that messaging out there, that there are natural alternatives. And I know that you have a killer online store where you have literally vetted every single product that has come in, and we've made it, which I'm so proud to be in your store. But tell us about that, because I don't think people realize how many bad products that have so little of the active ingredient in it, they're not going to do much. So tell us about your process of vetting products and even determining which ones will make it on your store because they're good enough.
There's a lot that goes into it. We look for all of the ingredients. It's not, this is the main ingredient that, for instance, there's a product that we absolutely love that we were carrying, and it has been on a major back order. And we said, okay, this company can't even tell us when they're going to be, and we love the product. They can't even tell us when we're going to be able to get it in. And I searched long and hard to even find this product. And so I said, all right, well, we need to go on a search and we need to find a replacement product because we can't get this. We literally found 50 other products with the same main ingredient, but every one of them had something that didn't pass muster for me. And so we literally have been out of stock of one of our main products for months because I will not compromise and bring in something that has an ingredient that I don't like. Sometimes things like this, when they happen, can actually be a good thing because it forces me to go find the original source and private label things because I'm not willing to settle for other things that other people have added in. So every product that sometimes we're looking for a specific category of product. And I can't remember, but I was talking to our operations manager the other day and I said, hey, we don't have anything in this category. Let's go find something that fits our criteria, which is it has to be natural. It's not going to cause any harm. It doesn't have synthetic additives. It doesn't have preservatives and dyes and
flavorings and
flavoring. So many things that we're so picky about. And so that's how we're looking at the products. But in addition to that, the company that makes or sells or distributes the product also has to meet our requirements, which means they have to be of high integrity. They have to play well with others. I will not carry products if there is a lack of integrity or transparency at management level, sales level, whatever it is. So when we bring something in, and if there's ever a question, we go to the source, we investigate, we ask questions. And sometimes questions are valid. Sometimes it's just one person has a beef about something and they had a bad experience, but you kind of go, oh, it was really more that one person had a beef. Right. So we really try hard to find products that meet our criteria and that really are going to actually help the animals, that it's not just another hype. It's the product of the day or the product of the week. It's what everybody's talking about right now. Is it actually going to do any good? Is there any research behind it? Can we find any research on it? And as you well know, finding good research in the holistic space can be very difficult because the smaller companies don't have the millions of dollars to put into double-blinded placebo long-term studies. But frankly, what is coming out of the pharmaceutical industry and what they are calling good studies, they kind of stink. And you can skew anything any way you want to. So a lot of times we have to go a little bit with anecdotal evidence. How long has the product been around? So for instance, mushrooms. Medicinal mushrooms have been around for eons.
Forever.
People have been growing and eating mushrooms forever. So we know that there are medicinal benefits to shiitake, maitake, reishi, cordyceps, lion's mane, turkey's tail. We know that there are medicinal benefits there. Great. Okay, we have a mushroom product. All right, good. I'm in right there just because it's got mushrooms. But how are the mushrooms grown? How are the mushrooms cultivated? How are the mushrooms processed? What part of the mushrooms are we using? So there's a lot more that goes
And on top of that, who's the person behind the company? Do they know what they're doing? Why are they doing it? So I find these, someone will send me and go, hey, is this a good product? And it's just a product. I can't find any story or their science or any reason behind it whatsoever. So I always say that. Look at the person behind it. Is this someone that you can trust and knows what they're doing? And I would say that the majority of mushroom products and cannabis products that are over the counter and being sold are not pure. They're not potent. Some of them don't even have mushroom fruit extract in it.
I live in North Carolina now, and it seems, especially in the South, it wasn't so much when I lived up north, but especially in the South, almost every gas station has a big banner flag out front that says CBD sold here. And I'm like, really? The gas station
Wait till you get
is
here.
where you go to get your high quality products? Like, it just makes me crack
Wait
up.
till you see Florida, Judy. You're going to die. I mean, I go to cannabis conferences here and I can't even keep up because they are literally synthesizing THC to be stronger and higher. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we're totally losing that this is an incredible medicine. But yeah, wait till you get here. It's crazy. It's everywhere. Delta 8, CBD. Don't need a medical license. You name it. Everything around here. You're going to be going, where am I? But yeah, I think it's really important because there's going to be fads and trends, and mushrooms are certainly in right now. And most of the products out there are just ground up substrate and not even an extract of the fruiting body. So there's literally like 2 or 3 companies in the whole pet space doing it correctly. And I know that you carry all the ones that are doing it right. So I appreciate that.
Maybe not all of them, but we have vetted them, and we have a couple of companies. But
good.
Yeah, so that kind of research goes into every product. And what's really become interesting is that since my daughter took over as COO of the company, she finds a lot of products that I would not find, and she'll bring them to me. And actually, Jenny, our operations manager, has gotten really good at scoping out things. So it's kind of a team effort now, but nothing gets approved without at least getting my eyes on it and my approval. But it's really a team effort. So, and that's why we've grown exponentially in the past couple of years since Gwen took over, because now we have more people able to get their eyes on things, and I go to Global Pet Expo to talk to people, and Gwen goes to Vegas for Super Zoo. I don't really like Vegas that much, and I don't really want to go back. So, and that's usually around her birthday. So I'm like, you get a birthday trip to Vegas every year. Have a good time.
Awesome. I love it. I'll send Carter and Hernando, and then Carter, Hernando, and Gwen can go have fun in Las Vegas. The problem is the 2 crazy cat ladies are there, so that's always like the excuse to go see them also.
I know. I didn't get to see them. Gwen did, but they partied pretty hard, and I think they're above my level of being able to.
I know. I hear you. I hear you. We'll be in the back doing our CBD and mushrooms. I love that you were one of the first advocates for CBD also, and I know you have gone through it with, selling all the crap that we have to go through on a regular basis. But thank you for being one of the original advocates for CBD. I remember seeing you speak. I want to say it was in like Super Zoo 2018 at an event, but I may be getting it backwards. I remember it was like a women and pet industry event. Was that at Super Zoo, or was it?
Yeah, there was. That was 2019 at Super Zoo. There was a women
good
industry.
So I remember you talking about it then, and me falling in love with you then, and I got how ridiculous and what you had to go through.
Listen, I'm permanently banned from PayPal. My son is permanently banned from PayPal.
All of us are.
And they kept my money.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that. I went and got my money back. I waited. What was it? They made us wait 6 months, and then at that 6 month date.
Yeah, and I tried. And I tried. They said no. They said it was my punishment.
Oh, hell no. I wish I would have known you then. I would have fought that fight. But so that everybody listening knows that even though the Farm Bill has made hemp, which hemp is defined as having 0.03 THC or less, it's legal in all 50 states, but because it's not legal all over the world, we can't advertise it, or we can't even get a credit card processor. Back in the day, couldn't even get a bank. I remember my first bank was like overseas somewhere. But yeah, PayPal seemed like an ally in the beginning, and then changed their mind and literally kept people's money. And it was right when I started, so it was huge. And I was like, whoa. So I feel like, getting into CBD, I could freaking handle anything now, and I'm sure you feel the same way. But it's not easy. They really do try their best to keep these natural medicines. They make it a lot harder for us to make them, tell everyone about them, And what I don't think people understand is when you mention the FDA and clinical trials, I remember going, oh God, am I going to have to do a research study? But then every time I talk to holistic veterinarians, they're like, we don't care about that. What are you finding? What are you seeing? Let me try it. And I'd be like, here you go. Try it. Tell me what you're seeing. And that's how we kind of built up our reputation and that it actually works, because so few people they're getting hemp seed oil in a bottle.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't work. This isn't doing anything kind of
so
thing.
People used to give me a hard time and they'd say, how come your product is $30 a bottle and I can get hemp seed oil for $6 a bottle on Amazon? I'm like, because you're using hemp seed oil that does nothing. It's not. Anyway, old arguments.
I know, old arguments. And I appreciate you being. So this is kind of the things that we're talking about at the event. Not only what do these natural medicines do, but tell us what you're going to talk about at the event. And one of my favorite things that you do is you expose the dangers that are really making the biggest impact on our pet's life. What we're feeding them, over vaccinating them, early spay and neuter, all these things that set them up for not success. So that's why I feel like more than anything, people need to hear that, because when people call my shop and go, what kind of vaccinations do I need to have my dog come in for a groom? I go, I don't care. None. Zero. Did you get them done their first year of life? Great. You're good. Just come on in.
India.
All right. Yeah. So tell us what you're going to talk about and what you think pet parents need to really hear the most.
Well, my talk is a little bit different from everyone else who is speaking. So I have, for many years, when I've done speaking events, I've gone in with zero agenda, no PowerPoint, just, hey, we're going to sit and you're going to ask questions, and I'll kind of break the ice. But I usually give them my 3 topics that we want to discuss. And one is vaccines, one is food, and the other one is drugs and chemicals. And so I let them pick what we're going to start with. But then it really is just a free-flowing Q&A, and the conversation goes wherever it goes based on whatever people ask. So that's always kind of fun. For this particular event, I actually am giving a talk for 1 hour, which will be on the worst drugs in the veterinary industry that you should avoid at all costs for your pets.
Awesome.
And it's sort of what the problems are with them. I've done this talk once before. It's going to be modified from the last time I did it, but so well received, and people were stunned to learn what these drugs do to our pets. And I think it opened a lot of eyes when you're standing in a room full of people who really want to treat their pets holistically and naturally, and yet they've been talked into, or they didn't know that the drug that was prescribed actually had all these horrible side effects. It's really eye-opening. Like I saw people just getting so upset. And the thing is, you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And once you do know, it's like, oh crap, what do I do now? And so that's the goal, is to say, okay, well, we've got to move away from this. Here's what we can do instead. And then,
but we don't ever hear that message from a veterinarian.
No.
So when we hear it, to me, it's a, that weird feeling in my gut is going, I knew it. I knew it. Or that
I shouldn't have done that. My vet said it was fine anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So I will be doing a focus talk on drugs and chemicals and things that we really should not be walking out of the office with. And then we're going to do a free flow Q&A for at least an hour, so that, because people might have questions about dental care or spay and neuter or vaccines, and that's not the focus of my talk. So kind of go wherever people want to go, which I think that part is always fun, because you never know where it's going to go.
I know, you never know. And what's interesting is that you really see that so many people have the same type of issues or questions that they want answered. And I think the biggest question we get because of what we do is, how do I get my dog off of this and put him on something more natural? Because I think they're finally starting to learn. Every pharmaceutical is based on something found in nature. And usually that pharmaceutical took just a compound out of that mushroom or plant and made a drug that doesn't work nearly as much when you get that full extract out of the plant or mushroom. What are some of the big successes that you've had or seen over the years using, getting someone off steroids or Apoquil or any of these dangerous things and been able to change them with natural and food therapy? Which, explain what food therapy is, because I don't think people understand that either.
Food is medicine. And Hippocrates, who said, let food be thy medicine and thy medicine be thy medicine be food, whatever. Food has incredible powers to heal. It also has incredible powers to kill us. For instance, I have relatives who have eaten every single meal of their lives at fast food restaurants. They happen to live in fast food Mecca. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, fast food.
Wow.
The most unhealthy, overweight, chronic disease, chronic inflammation, and the pet food industry is basically feeding our pets processed food that's no different than fast food. It's horrible.
Right.
And that's part of the reason why we have so much chronic disease. So I can take an animal. So for instance, we do a lot of rescue work as well. And I love to take in seniors who have a million issues. And the first thing I do is change their diet when they come in, and I will design a diet based on what their problems are. And if they've got liver disease, we're going to put herbs and foods in there to treat liver disease. If they've got heart disease, we're going to put herbs and food in the bowl to treat heart disease. So we can pick and choose, but it really comes down to we need fresh, whole food ingredients, not stale, dry, ultra-processed, dead food that then had synthetic chemicals put back in to give it any nutrient value. So food therapy is really just using food to make the body heal. And the changes that we can see literally within weeks, you can turn animals around incredibly. So that's why food has been my passion. That's why I write cookbooks for dogs. Everyone wants a cookbook for cats, and I'm like, I will write a cookbook for cats. I'm not going to tell you your cats are going to eat it because, man, cats are not small dogs, and they got a mind of their own, and they don't like leftovers, so you got to cook in small batches.
I have a new cat living with us, and it's the only cat in all dogs, and he wants everything the dogs are eating. Matter of fact, I sent a picture to Carol from Mind Pet Platter because Odie, my 16-and-a-half-year-old, eats throughout the day. Everybody else cleans their plate. And I had to put a lid on top because he was jumping up on the counter and finishing Odie's food. I'm like, look, new product idea. Mind Pet Platter lids. But he loves everything. I think it's because there's so much variety here, and he's probably getting the same thing over and over again before. But we are so excited, and I know that you're going to take this tour to several other cities. So those of you who can't make it to Tampa on March 25th, she is going to go a couple other places throughout the nation. And if it's something that you're interested in bringing to your town, contact Judy's office. Krista handles your events over at your place, and let them know, and we'll come to you. I love this. I think it's a beautiful thing, and I get to see my community and you get to see your community, and we get to share what we know and try things out. I think everybody will love it. So if you find one of these, it's called Dr. Judy Morgan's Naturally Healthy Pets Experience, and it will launch March 25th here in Tampa. And I know there's a ticket site, but I guess, can they go to your website and find the event? Because I know it's like an event thing. So maybe we'll put that up on your site somewhere so that...
Yeah, it's
because I know it's like an event site. We'll, of course, put all the links on our podcast so that you can easily find it. But thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for doing what you're doing. Thank you for being our pets advocate. We appreciate it so much. Telling the truth. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that, and I know everyone else does. Thank you for being someone we can trust. Thank you for vetting these products so that we know what the heck to choose. And I can't wait to see you March 25th here in Tampa. Thank you, Judy.
Looking forward to it.